Hello learners, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Myself Simran from Team CloudyML, and today we are going to see another SQL interview question asked by the company RELIANCE JIO. So let's begin. First, by moving ahead with the main question as we always do, let's solve a small quiz on SQL. So the question for the quiz is how to write an SQL query to find students' names that start with A. And these are the four options that are given. So if you know the answer for this question, do put it down in the comment section, or else watch the entire video. So at the end of the video, I'll be discussing the answer for this question. So let's begin with the main question. Write an SQL query to report the comparison result, which is higher, lower, or same, of the average salary of employees in a department to the company's average salary. Return the result table in any order. So we will better understand this question with the help of an example. So in the input, you have two tables. First is the salary table, and second is the employee table. So in the salary table, you have the details of the salary, that is ID, employee ID, then amount, and the pay date. So you have the date for 2 months. So this is for the March month and for the February month. Okay, and you have 3 employees. So, and in the employee table, you have the details of the employee or the employee ID and their respective department ID. So the department 1 has 1 employee with the ID 1. Department 2 has 2 employees with the IDs 2 and 3. So this is the data given. So what you have to do is, so this is the sample output. If you see, then for the common pay months, so the pay month 17 February, and March 17, March 17, and for the respective department IDs. For both the departments, the comparison is given. Okay, which means that suppose for the department ID, the department number 2, okay, in the month of February, they got the same average salary as the average salary of the company. In the company, you have both the departments, correct? But in the department, you have only a single department. So you have to compare the average salary for each month of the department ID with the average salary of the entire company for that month itself. And if the salaries or the average salaries are the same, then you have to display the same word, or it is lower, then you have to give lower, or if it is higher, then you have to give higher. Okay, so this is the question. Let's see how to solve it using MySQL Workbench. First, let's create the database. Let's give the name as 15. Let's give it as data 15 and use. After creating the database, as we always do, we have to create the table. So we'll be creating the salary table first, and I will be using the same records as given in the input sample input. We have 6 columns, 6 rows or 6 records, if you can say. And the second table is the employee table where we have 3 records of 3 different employees. So select this and run. So both the tables have been created. Let's see the tables, how they look. Let's create star from salary. So this is the first table wherein you have the ID, employee ID, amount and pay date. Okay, as given in the sample input. And let's also see the employee table. Select, run. This is the employee table wherein you have 3 employees of 2 departments. Now let's see how to solve the question and how to write the query for it. So first I'll be writing the query and then I'll explain it to you step by step. What we are doing is we'll be creating 2 different tables, if we can say. not creating tables, but creating it in the form of records, okay, for the query. The first will be referring to the department salary, and the second would be referring to the company salary, because those are the two quantities that we need to compare, correct? So when department underscore average is greater than company underscore average, then you will be printing higher. What this means that the department average salary is greater than the company average salary. So that is why you will be printing higher. But when the same condition that the department salary is lower, now the department salary is lower than the company salary. So in that case, you will print lower. Else, you will be printing same. And let's give the column name for this case when and as comparison. Okay. Now from where do you want to retrieve these records? We will be giving that two tables. So what we will be able to do is, as I said already, that we'll be creating or we will be retrieving some records under the name of department salary and some records under the name of company salary. So let's see what records we are retrieving. So what we are going to retrieve first is the department ID, then the average amount, because we have been told to get the average amount, correct? We have to compare the average salaries. And let's give this the name department average. If you see here, we have compared this department average. So this is the same department average which we have created here, comma. Date format also we will need to compare the date. And what we're going to do is we're going to display the date in a particular format. See, in the sample output also, you just have the month. Okay, the date is not present. See, here we have the entire date, but here we have only the year and the month. Correct? So for that, we need to convert it into a particular format. For that, we are going to use the date format function. Pass this pay date column, comma. Now in what format you want to convert it? In the year and month format. So give year dash percent month. Okay. This will be the format in which the month will be displayed as pay month. This is the column. Now from where this has to be retrieved? From our salary table which we have created. Join employee table. Because why we need to join? Because the department ID is present in the employee table. Correct? See, department ID is present in the employee table, but the amount is present in the salary table. See here, if you retrieve the salary table, here you have the amount. So that is why we need to join the two tables if we want to retrieve data from both the tables simultaneously. Okay. And what is the common column in these two tables? Which is the employee ID. So we need to give the on keyword on employee underscore ID is equals to salary dot employee dot employee ID. Okay. And also don't forget to give the group by department ID, comma pay month. Why we are giving the group by? Because if you see in the final output, we have each month along with each department. Similarly, you have the March month with the department 2, March month with the department 1. So that is why we are giving the group by separately, or we are passing both the columns in the group by. Given alias to this entire data that we have created, the alias will be nothing but department underscore salary. If you know the department underscore salary, we have, see, here we have mentioned department underscore salary, correct? So this is the same. And now we will be creating the second table, or we will be specifying the rows from the second table, which will be the company salary. So what we are going to retrieve in that, the average amount as company average, which means the average salary of the entire company. Along with this, the date, okay, because we need the date format, pay date, okay, so pay date, and after that we need to specify the format, which is %y, which is the year, and %m, which will be the month. Okay, after the pay date, let's give it a name to this column, which is the pay month, because we don't have the entire date over here, we have the month, correct? So we will give it as pay month. And now we only have to refer the salary because we don't have any department or any employee involved in this data. So from salary, group by, here we are going to group by the data based on pay month. Okay, so group by date format. Date underscore format. Again, pass the pay date, comma. In what format it is present? In the y dash %m, and the alias name that will be given to this will be as company and as salary. So both of them are created. Just a second. By date format. Now we will specify the original whatever we have written above. For that, we are going to specify the common columns, department underscore salary is the table that we just created, or the records, or the temporary variable in which we have stored the records, underscore pay month. Pay month is the common column between the both. So that is why we're going to specify the pay month column. Don't worry, you will understand it when I'll explain it line by line. So this is a code. I'll just let's run it, and then we will check the answer, and then finally I'll explain the code to you line by line. Okay, run this. I guess we have an error. Let's do it once again. Okay, so see, the data has been retrieved as we have given it, as it has been given in the sample output. You see, we have the pay month, the department ID, and the comparison as well. Now let's understand the code line by line. Okay, first let's keep this part aside, which is selecting from part aside, and let's see that what exactly this department salary and the company salary give us. Okay, let's see what exactly they give us. This is the department salary part. So now, and here we will refer to the table, to our sample input. We will refer our sample input from here. Okay. So let's begin. What it has done first is it is selecting the department ID, comma, average amount as department average, and date format also. So what let's first, and it is grouping by based on department ID and pay month. So first let's write down the department IDs and the pay month. You have the department ID and the pay month. And we need to group it by on it. Okay, so we will write this only once. And from which table it is being done? From the salary and employee table. So if you see that department ID is present in the employee table, and amount is present in the salary table and pay date is also present in the salary table. So let's see the salary table. For department ID, you have two values, okay, and for the pay date, you have three values. For the pay month, you have also two values. So total, you will be getting four groups. The first group will be the department ID 1 and the pay month as 17/2, which means year 17, second month. Second will be the department ID 2 and again the pay month as 17/2. Then the third group will be the department ID 1 and the pay month as 17/3. Department ID 2, pay month as 17/3. So this is the group by part. And what values you want in this group by? Okay. Secondly, you also want the pay month, which we have already written. And the third is the average amount. So let's see how to get the average amount. So first consider the first group, which is the department ID 1 and pay month as 17/2. If you see in department ID 1, you have the employee ID 1. Refer to the salary table. Your employee ID 1 is earning 9,000, but he is earning 9,000 in March month. But for now, we want it for the February month. So you will refer here in the February month, he is earning 7,000. So the average will be 7,000 only because there is only one value present in this group. So here the average, which is the department average. The column name we have given as department average will be 7,000. The next group is department ID 2 and the pay month 17/2. So if you see the department ID 2 has two employees, 2 and 3. Go to the salary table and refer to the month of February. In the month of February, 2 and 3 employees are earning 6,000 and 8,000. Take the average of these two values. The average will come up to 7,000. Okay, so this is the department average value. Next, we have the group 1 and 17/3. Okay, so department ID 1 has the employee ID 1. So here is the employee ID 1 and the month March he is earning 9,000. So the year, the average will be 9,000. Correct? For the next department or for the next group, you have department ID 2 and the month as March. So department ID 2 has 2 and 3 employees. Go to 2 and 3 employees and the month March, you have the values 6,000 and 10,000. If you take the average of 6,000 and 10,000, you will get the value as 8,000. So this table is our department salary table, or it is only temporarily stored. We can't say there's a table, but it is temporarily stored. This is the department salary temporary stored table. Okay. So we have first, we got the first table, which is the department salary table. Now let's see the second table, which is the company average or the company salary table. Yes, company salary table. Let's see what this has to say. Okay, here you have to group it by based on the date format. So first let's write down the date format, which is pay month. The name is given as pay month. And if you see, you have only two options of pay month, which is 17/2 and 17/3. Correct? And what value it has stored? It has stored the average amount company wise. Okay. So if you see the average amount company wise, in the month of February, you have three values of the amount: 7,000, 6,000 and 8,000 for the month of February. So if you take the average of 768, you will get the value as 7. So here the value will be 7,000 and the column name is given as company average. If you see in the table, see here you have given the name as company average. Okay. Then after that, the second group is for the 17/3, which is March. Here you have three records for March. You will be taking an average of 9,000, 6,000 and 10,000. Here you don't need to worry about the department. You have the company average salary. So you will consider all the three values. So if you add those, you will be getting 25,000 divided by 3. If you divide, you will get 8.333. So the value will be 8,333. Okay, this is the company salary table. Okay, now both these tables are joined. You know that. See, we have used a join keyword. Both these tables are joined. What next we have to do? Let's see that. What we have to do is we have to select the department salary dot pay month. Okay, so let's write it down so that we better understand it. I'll write it down over here only so that we can refer to the above tables. First, we are extracting the pay month from department salary. Which is the department salary? This one. This. So let's extract all the pay months from department salary. So the values that you will be getting is 17.2, 17.2, 17.3 and 17.3. Correct? Pay month is done. Next, what we will need to extract? Department ID. Department ID is only present in department salary. Correct? No department ID is present over here. So simply extract the department department ID. You will be getting 1, 2, 1, 2. Correct? Now next what we have to do? Apply case. Okay, and the corresponding values should be stored as comparison. So the third column will be the comparison. What comparison? So case, when department average is greater than company average, you need to give the value as higher. So let's see, how do you check the department average and company average? This is the department average. This is the company average. These values are the department average. These are the company average. So let's see. For the pay month 17.2 and for the department ID 1, which means the first column, the department average is 7,000. Check whether 7,000 is greater than 7,000. You need to consider the common pay months. Where it is given that you need to consider the common pay months, see here. On department salary dot pay month is equals to company salary dot pay month, which means these common columns, the pay month common columns. So if you compare 7,000 with 7,000, both are same. So this will be printed as same. Correct? Because we have given the three cases in that format only. Okay, we will be comparing it and we will be applying the whatever the comparison is, whatever the value is, higher, lower or same. Okay, first one we have done. Next is month February and department ID 2. Here is the month February, department ID 2, value is 7,000. Compare 7,000 with 7,000 again. Why? Because February and here is the value for February. So 7,000 by 7,000, again we will get it as same. Then you have the March month, department ID is 1. This is the March and department ID 1, value is 9,000. Now 9,000 will be compared with 8,333 and 9,000 is obviously greater. So here it will be printed as higher. And the final, which is 17.3 and 2 has the value of 8,000, but 8,000 is lesser than 8,333. So the value that will be printed is lower. So, and this is the final output that you get. See, only the result the order has been jumbled, but the output is one and the same. Okay, so this was the approach for solving this question. I know it is a bit complicated, but if you understand it properly, then you will definitely understand it. Watch the video as many times as you want and solve it line by line. Do execute it as I did over here. Okay, take a paper and pen, execute each and every step, then you will understand what exactly has been done. Yes, so I hope you've understood this question and the approach that we have used to solve it. We have joined two tables which are temporary tables, and then we have compared the values of the average salary and respectively we have printed the values. Okay, so let's see the quiz question. So we have to write an SQL query to find out the students' names that start with A. Okay. So the first option is select star from student where stud name begin A. there is no function in SQL like begin. Okay, begin is not a function in SQL. So this is not the correct answer. Let's see the second option, which is select star from student, where student name starts with A. Starts with A is also not a function in SQL. Okay, so this also cannot be a correct answer. Next, you have select student name from student, where student name is equals to A%. So this is also not a correct option, because if you use where, it will directly compare student name with this part. Okay, it will check for A% in the name of the student, and it will not retrieve any records. Let's see the fourth option, which is select star from student, where student name like A star. If you see, then like is a function used in SQL to compare patterns or to match patterns. So what this A star will do, it will match all the initial letters of the student names, and it will print the student's name which begin with A. So the correct option is the fourth option. Okay, and why? Because it uses the like keyword in SQL. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Do like the video if you really felt it helpful. Share it with your friends and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you.